So, interesting that you said after your past life regression that you didn't remember much, but then when you started talking about it, all started coming up again. And you were just saying too, afterwards, after we finished the filming, there was some extra information that came up that was about your neck.
Yeah, it's hurting now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's in your body now that's hurting? So in your neck, what's coming up?
I feel rigid.
Rigid?
Yeah.
And it was...
Like there's something there, like, in my neck. It's actually holding me like that.
And when you were talking about it before, you were saying like around Marie Antoinette sort of
Marie
area.
Antoinette, that's the name I was given. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what's your knowledge of what happened with her?
Well, I find it, I don't know, I'm not very good on history, but she was one of King Henry VIII's wives, so she would have been beheaded.
Okay.
But I don't know what she did.
So what's coming up for you in your body right now, just as you say all that, and what you got from the past life regression? What's there in your body?
Okay, yeah. Something right here.
Yep.
Yeah, in the solar plexus here.
Okay. So even though I've got this feeling in my solar plexus...
Even though I have this feeling in my solar plexus.
And I don't know where it comes from.
And I don't know where it comes from.
I ask my body to process and release it all the way back to its origin.
I ask my body to process and release it all the way back to its origin.
Wherever that may be.
Wherever that may be.
All these past lives.
All these past lives.
All the energy of them.
All the energy of them.
Whatever's still left in my body.
Whatever's still left in my body.
I choose to process and release it.
I choose to process and release it.
Out of my solar plexus.
Out of my solar plexus.
Is it a sharp pain?
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
That sharp pain in my solar plexus.
That sharp pain in my solar plexus.
Wherever it comes from.
Wherever it comes from.
I choose to process and release it.
I choose to process and release it.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
Out of the DNA.
Out of the DNA.
And all the multidimensional layers.
And out of all the multidimensional layers.
Where all of my Akash is stored.
Where all of my Akash is stored.
I choose to process and release it.
I choose to process and release it.
I instruct my body to release it.
I instruct my body to release it.
Taking that sharp instrument out of my chest.
Taking that sharp instrument out of my chest.
That sharp pain out of my solar plexus.
That sharp pain out of my solar plexus.
Releasing it and letting it go.
Releasing it and letting it go.
And all the emotions and beliefs.
And all the emotions and beliefs.
That are connected to it.
That are connected to it.
That hold me back in some way.
That hold me back in some way.
I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
Taking it out of my body.
Taking it out of my body.
So what's there for you now when you think of that?
Well, that's gone.
Okay.
It just feels a bit dull.
What about the neck? You said it was very stiff before.
No, that was freer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was related to that in some way.
Yeah. Okay, but now I'm getting like a feeling back here again.
Okay, so that feeling down the left side of the back. So which lifetime was that related to?
That would have been the second one in. I started to get the ache in my back, and then it got intense.
And what was that? Which lifetime was that in? Ache in your back, the left side of your back.
It would have been going back into the hut stage. I don't know. I thought it was 1200.
Even though I've got this body remembrance.
Even though I have this body remembrance.
Of pain down the left side of my body.
Of pain down the left side of my body.
The left side of my back.
The left side of my back.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And everything that still remains in my body.
And everything that still remains in my body.
That relates to that lifetime.
That relates to that lifetime.
All the beliefs I created.
All the beliefs I created.
All the trapped emotions that don't serve me.
All the trapped emotions that don't serve me.
That are still trapped in the energy of my cells.
That are still trapped in the energy of my cells.
The multidimensional layers of my DNA.
The multidimensional layers of my DNA.
I process and release them all.
I process and release them all.
All the way back to their origins.
All the way back to their origins.
All the way back to that lifetime in the hut.
All the way back to that lifetime in the hut.
Where I felt alone.
Where I felt alone. Ignored.
And I felt ignored.
Wondering why nobody speaks.
Wondering why no one speaks. That silent lifetime.
That's really interesting, because when my husband's silent, I said, why don't you talk to me?
That feeling that no one speaks.
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 Okay, something just popped into me, and just see if this lands with you. I wonder if you were deaf.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just resonated with me.
That feeling of not being able to hear.
I was dumb too.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb.
So see how my intuition,
Yeah.
but I asked, does this
Yeah.
land to you? Because it popped in for me, and it landed. So I felt like I was deaf and dumb.
I felt like I was deaf and dumb.
No wonder I couldn't hear anything.
No wonder I couldn't hear anything.
I could see the beautiful light coming through the trees.
I could see the beautiful light coming through the trees.
And I felt at peace.
And I felt at peace.
But I couldn't hear.
But I couldn't hear.
And I couldn't communicate.
And I couldn't communicate.
No wonder I felt invisible.
No wonder I felt invisible.
Releasing and letting go of that invisible feeling.
Releasing and letting go of that invisible feeling.
Not being able to speak or hear.
Being able to speak or hear.
Not being seen.
Not being seen.
Because I couldn't speak or hear.
Because I couldn't speak or hear.
No wonder I keep myself small in this life.
No wonder I keep myself small in this life.
I wonder why people don't speak.
I wonder why people don't speak.
Releasing and letting go of that pattern and belief.
Releasing and letting go of that pattern of belief.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
And the feeling down the left side of my back.
And the feeling down the left side of my back.
So left is feminine. Able to step into my feminine power.
Able to step into my feminine power.
Tall and strong.
Tall and strong.
Supported by my feminine power.
Supported by my feminine power.
Supported by my feminine power and able to speak it.
Supported by my feminine power and able to speak it.
Able to be heard.
Able to be heard.
Able to be seen.
Able to be seen.
Feeling confident speaking my feminine power.
Feeling confident speaking my feminine power.
Releasing the belief that I'm not seen or heard.
Releasing the belief that I'm not seen or heard.
I can speak my truth now.
I can speak my truth now.
It's safe for me to speak my truth.
It's safe for me to speak my truth.
I'm not invisible.
I'm not invisible.
And I can stand tall and supported.
And I can stand tall and supported.
In my feminine truth.
In my feminine truth.
So how does that feel? Because back is also about being supported and standing.
Okay. I've got this pain here, you know, like ovary kind of pain? Even
though my body feels this ovary pain.
Even though my body feels this ovary pain.
On the left side of my body.
On the left side of my body.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And everything that's connected with it.
And everything that's connected with it.
Even though in that lifetime.
Even though in this lifetime.
That lifetime.
That lifetime.
I couldn't speak or hear.
I couldn't speak or hear.
And I felt invisible.
And I felt invisible.
And I felt alone.
I felt alone.
And I have this pain in my left ovary.
And I have this pain in my left ovary.
Perhaps no one wanted to mate with me either.
Perhaps nobody wanted to mate with me either.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And all of these feelings.
And all of those feelings.
So does that resonate with you? That you weren't able to express your feminine energy and have
but
babies?
Like now, in this lifetime, you know, I don't want to be touched. I make an excuse why I don't want to be touched.
That feeling I don't want to be touched.
That feeling I don't want to be touched.
That feeling in my left ovary.
That feeling in my left ovary.
All my anger.
All my anger.
They made out that I was invisible.
They made out that I was invisible.
Why should I allow them to touch me?
Why should I allow them to touch me?
They treated me like I was different.
They treated me like I was different.
Like I was invisible.
Like I was invisible.
Why should I allow them to touch me?
Why should I allow them to touch me?
Does that resonate?
They don't understand me.
They don't understand me. They don't understand me.
Yeah.
I'm not understood.
I'm not understood.
They don't understand me.
They don't understand me.
They don't try to understand me.
They don't try to understand me.
They don't understand me.
They don't understand me.
They don't try to understand me.
They don't try to understand me.
No wonder I don't let them touch me.
No wonder I don't let them touch me.
I'm angry with them.
I'm angry with them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm angry with them.
I'm angry with them.
They don't even try to understand me.
They don't even try to understand me.
All this anger trapped in my left ovary.
All this anger trapped in my left ovary.
No wonder I didn't want them to touch me.
No wonder I didn't want them to touch me.
They They don't deserve to touch me.
They don't deserve to touch me.
They don't deserve to touch me because they don't understand.
They don't deserve to touch me because they don't understand.
They don't even try to understand.
They don't even try to understand.
All my anger,
All my anger,
trapped in my left ovary.
trapped in my left ovary.
I instruct the multidimensional layers of my DNA
I instruct the multidimensional layers of my DNA
to process and release it,
to process and release it,
all the way back to its origin,
all the way back to its origin,
in this life and every life,
in this life and every life,
especially that life.
especially that life.
Allowing myself to understand them.
Allowing myself to understand them.
They didn't know how to understand me.
They didn't know how to understand me.
They couldn't communicate with me.
They couldn't communicate with me.
I couldn't hear them.
I couldn't hear them.
I couldn't speak.
I couldn't speak.
All my frustration,
All my frustration,
all their frustration,
all their frustration,
all my anger.
all my anger.
I release it from my body
I release it from my body
and my left ovary,
and my left ovary,
allowing compassion for me
allowing compassion for me
and for them.
and for them.
We just couldn't communicate.
We just couldn't communicate.
But maybe I shut them out
But maybe I shut them out,
as much as they shut me out.
which is what I do now, as much as I do now. Is
Mhm.
it? Why is it?
As
Yeah.
much as they did,
As much as they did,
I shut them out,
I shut them out,
just like I do now.
just like I do now.
And maybe I can release that pattern
Maybe I can release that pattern
and allow myself to be open to communication.
and allow myself to be open to communication,
Cutting that cord of shutting people out,
cutting that cord of shutting people out,
that need to shut people out,
that need to shut people out,
that anger and frustration,
that anger and frustration,
opening myself up for communication,
opening myself up for communication,
releasing the anger
releasing the anger
and the frustration,
and the frustration,
releasing it and letting it go from my body,
releasing it and letting it go from my body,
all the way back to its origin.
all the way back to its origin.
What colour do you want to send in there to dissolve it completely?
Yellow.
Yeah, so sending a beautiful, bright, sunshine yellow
Oh. Yep, sending the beautiful sunshine yellow
into my left ovary,
into my left ovary,
into all of the cells of my body,
into all the cells of my body,
processing and releasing it all the way back to its origin.
processing and releasing it all the way back to its origin,
Having that beautiful, bright yellow sunshine in my body,
having the beautiful yellow sunshine in my body,
in my left ovary.
in my left ovary.
It's safe to communicate.
It's safe to communicate.
It's safe to touch.
It's safe to touch.
It's safe to be touched.
It's safe to be touched.
Opening myself up
Opening myself up
for communication on all levels.
for communication on all levels,
Even being touched and
Yeah.
touching others.
even being touched and touching others.
It's safe now.
It's safe now.
With that beautiful yellow sunshine in my left ovary.
With that beautiful yellow sunshine in my left ovary.
Mm-hmm. How does that feel now? You felt something shift
I
in
did.
your
It was
mouth.
like, whoosh,
Yeah.
just kind of, I don't know whether it went out or which
Yeah.
way it went.
Yeah,
But
I saw it.
But I just was so guilty.
Mm-hmm. So where's the guilt?
Guilty for my husband because of his needs.
Mm-hmm. So where do you feel the guilt in your body now? Throat. Even though I've got all this guilt in my throat,
Even though I have all this guilt in my throat,
I accept myself
I accept myself.
and the way I held on to that past pattern
And the way I held on to that past pattern
and how it affected my life now,
and how it affected my life now,
especially my husband.
especially my husband.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way this pattern affected me now,
and the way this pattern affected me now,
and I choose to process and release it in the now.
and I choose to process and release it in the now.
All the guilt in my throat.
All the guilt in my throat.
I can't change the past,
I can't change the past.
although I just did,
Although I just did.
but I can behave differently now
I can behave differently now
when I release the guilt.
when I release the guilt.
Releasing the guilt from my throat
Releasing the guilt from my throat.
and all remnants from that past life belief
And all remnants from that past belief
and experience.
and experience.
I choose to have the bright yellow sunshine in my whole body,
I choose to have the bright yellow sunshine in the whole of my body,
dissolving and releasing all the guilt in my throat.
dissolving and releasing all the guilt in my throat.
When I think about my husband
When I think about my husband
and the past not letting him touch me,
and the past not letting him touch me,
releasing that and letting it go,
releasing that and letting it go,
Allowing myself to be open to be touched.
Allowing myself to be open to be touched.
And loved.
And loved.
Allowing communication to flow on all levels.
Allowing communication to flow on all levels.
It's safe now.
It's safe now.
I'm not invisible.
I'm not invisible.
I can speak my truth.
I can speak my truth.
And be heard.
And be heard.
I can communicate on all levels now.
I can communicate on all levels now.
And it's safe to be touched.
It's safe to be touched.
It might even be enjoyable.
It might even be enjoyable. Tell him that.
So how does that feel?
Yeah.
Did you get
It's funny how we both had the same things.
Yeah, but I actually had problems with my left ovary. I had a huge cyst on it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I had
And that's
to,
what it is. It's rejecting the feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Last year I had that feeling in my stomach. I went to the doctor. My doctor wasn't there. He'd gone on holiday. So I saw the actual owner of the practice, and she sort of like, at that point it was over here. So she pressed around here and like kind of let go, like just shot up in the air. Oh, she said, okay, appendicitis. What? You know, packed a bag, went into hospital. And I was just processed so fast and so efficiently. They did this scan, and then I got taken up to the room, to the ward. And then I'm texting away to my friend, because I knew she worked in the hospital, and I said, "Where are you, Teresa?" I said, "I'm in here, come and visit me," you know. So she came up to see me because she used to work at Fremantle, but she transferred to Fiona Stanley. And anyway, she came in and said, "What the hell are you doing in here?" I said, "I don't know, I've just had a scan," and I said, "They reckon it could be," anyway. She didn't tell me what she was going to do. She went off, she said, "I've got to go, lovey." She said, "I've got lunch break," you know, so she toddled off. When she came back, I was actually just having a shower, and she's shouting at me through the door. She said, "I'm back," she said, and she just looked at me, and I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Look, I've just went and sneaked at your file." She said, "They found a 3x5 mass in your cervix." I said, "That's not mine." Straight up, I said, "That is not mine." You know, and I was just stunned, really. And of course, you know, you've got two and two together and you think, okay, so there's a blessing in disguise that I had to come in here to actually find that. But at the same time, I wasn't owning it. So anyway, then Ivan came in to visit me, and he looked at Teresa and said, "What's up?" Because I was silent, and I said, "You tell him." And he said, "What?" You know, and she told him, and he just crumbled, you know. Anyway, I stayed in for another day. Then the next morning I got all these doctors coming, all these female nurse doctors, gynaes obviously. And they proceeded to do a pap smear, because I actually hadn't had one for years. And I was just in tears, I couldn't tolerate it. And I said, "If you want to do this, you're going to have to put me out." I said, "Because I can't tolerate it." Anyway, it just all got processed so fast. It was like a whirlwind, you know. They discharged me, and then 2 days later, somebody got me in really, really quickly to have an exploratory thing. I went and had an ultrasound and everything, and the guy that did the ultrasound, he said, "I'm actually going all over the place." He said, "I can't find a thing." In the meantime, I'd actually contacted my friend Nada, who's a high priestess, and she did this clearing and light through me. So whether it was that or my mindset being very positive that it wasn't mine.
It wasn't mine, and you released it and let it go.
I have no idea whether it was even there
gone
in the first place.
So 2 days later it was gone.
Yeah, and they couldn't find anything. Then of course I went in and had the whatever they do, a curate or something, I'm not quite sure what they did. And she said, "Look, there's just absolutely nothing there." She said, "But we had to be thorough, we had to go through that, you know, because we'd found what we thought we found." And my main concern was, oh my God, someone's probably gone out of this hospital, maybe, because it was in a big mayhem, that hospital, everything. There was 2 hospitals, 3 hospitals coming into that one, and it was early days, and I thought, oh my God, because they couldn't find my notes. I had to physically go around and chase my notes through the system, and I thought, well, maybe somebody else is walking around with something I was diagnosed with, you know, I don't know, but I just kind of...
Or it was yours and you said it's not mine, and it was gone.
Yeah.
But the good thing is it's all gone. And the same with, you know, if there was anything happening with your left ovary right then, whatever energetically it was there, which could have in time caused something,
Yeah.
it's just gone. We've just
Yeah, at
released
the
it.
same time, because my daughter has these pap smears and she actually gets to that, what do you call that, SIN 3 level? She gets to these abnormal cells. And so like last year, she had to have whatever they do, scraping or whatever, and they removed what they possibly could. But I just kind of live in fear with that outcome, because about every 4 to 6 months she has to have another pap smear, which she's come over from Queensland to come over and do.
And what about the fear when you got the diagnosis, when they said to you there was a mass? Is there anything left in your body, or you just said, no, it's not mine?
No, I just said it's not mine.
Yep, so, yep.
But I just feel too that I may have took on what happens with her. I don't know, you know, because now she's waiting for the outcome. She got a phone call the other day and they said, well, the doctor had not had a look at it, whoever is his assistant.
So what's there in your body when you think about her and you worry about her?
That I would rather have that than her.
Even though
That's very raw with me.
even though I've got this in my throat,
Even though I've got this in my throat,
or this emotion in my throat,
all this emotion in my throat,
where I'd rather take on what she's got.
I'd rather take on what she's got.
Maybe I don't have to take on anything.
Maybe I don't have to take on anything.
I can just help her clear what's there for her.
I can just help her clear what's there for her.
She's on her own journey.
She's on her own journey.
She has her own lessons and life learnings.
She has her own lessons in life and learnings.
I can't live her life for her,
I can't live her life for her,
but I can help her realise what's going on for her.
but I can help her realise what's going on for her.
Whatever's going on for her in her body,
Whatever's going on for her in her body.
and the emotional and energetic reactions to it
And the emotional and energetic reactions to it
that are affecting her results.
that are affecting her results.
All my worry doesn't help.
Well, my worry doesn't help.
Taking it on for
Taking
her
it on
doesn't
for
help.
her doesn't help.
And I want to release all the emotion in my throat
And I want to release all the emotion in my throat.
when I can be clear.
When I can be clear,
I can help her even more.
I can help her even more.
All the emotion in my throat.
All the emotion into my throat.
I don't need to take it on.
I don't need to take it on.
I don't need to take it on for her.
I don't need to take it on for her.
I need to be clear so I can help her deal with it.
I need to be clear so I can help her deal with it.
And help her see what's going on for herself.
And help her see what's going on for herself.
So I choose to release this emotion in my throat,
So I choose to release this emotion in my throat.
this need to take it on,
This need to take it on.
releasing the energy from my left ovary.
Releasing the energy from my left ovary.
I don't need to take her stuff on.
I don't need to take her stuff on.
I need to be clear to help her with her stuff.
I need to be clear to be able to help her deal with her stuff.
She's a separate soul and energy to me,
She's a separate soul and energy to me.
and she has her own soul learning
She has her own soul learning
and her own soul lessons,
and her own soul lessons.
and this is part of it.
And this is part of it.
For her to realise what's going on around her feminine side,
For her to realise what's going on around her feminine side,
so she can process it and release it.
so she can process and release it. But she won't. I can't reach her.
I can't reach her,
I can't reach her.
so sometimes it means something drastic has to happen
So sometimes it means something drastic has to happen
for someone to be open,
for someone to be open,
to really look at themselves.
to really look at themselves.
I can't change her journey.
I can't change her journey.
I can only be there for her when she's ready to look at herself.
I can only be there for her when she's ready to look at herself.
And know that all is well and appropriate
And know that all is well and appropriate
in her soul's learning and lesson.
in her soul's learning and lesson. And I want to protect her.
I want to protect her.
I want to protect her.
Of course I want to protect her.
Of course I want to protect her.
That's the human side of me,
That's the human side of me,
wanting to protect her.
wanting to protect her. She's just found happiness.
She's just found happiness.
And she's scared it's being taken away.
And she's scared it's being taken away. Wherever that's come from.
Wherever that's come from.
Maybe I can work on her surrogately.
Maybe I can work on her surrogately. She had a dream.
Her dream.
Her dream.
Her dream.
Her dream.
I can work on her surrogately.
I can work on her surrogately.
Working on the dream she had.
Working on the dream she had.
All connections from past lives.
Connections from past lives.
Where she'd found happiness and had it taken away.
Where she'd found happiness and had it taken away.
All her fears of it being taken away again.
All of her fears of it being taken away again.
I process and release it all from my body.
I process and release it all from my body.
As well as from hers.
As well as from hers.
Asking her multidimensional layers.
Asking her multidimensional layers.
Of her DNA.
Of her DNA.
If it's appropriate.
If it's appropriate.
For her soul's journey.
For her soul's journey.
To process and release that fear.
To process and release that fear.
And everything around the dream she had.
And everything around the dream she had.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
If it's appropriate for her soul's journey.
If it's appropriate for her soul's journey.
Asking her guides.
Asking her guides.
To help her to process and release it.
Helping her guides to process and release it. But I'm scared.
So where's the scared feeling?
I'm scared that it is part of her journey.
What is?
That it ends up being something more.
And what's the something more? What's your fear?
Stage 4.
Yeah. And stage 4 is?
Cancer.
And what's your worst fears with that?
Losing her.
So even though I've got this fear of losing her, keep tapping.
Even though I've got this fear of losing her.
Which is my fear.
Which is my fear.
I accept myself anyhow.
I accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm jumping ahead to the worst fears.
Even though I'm jumping ahead to the worst fears.
And I'm afraid of losing her.
And I'm afraid of losing her.
I accept myself anyhow.
I accept myself anyway.
All my fears.
All my fears.
I choose to process and release.
I choose to process and release.
What if her journey is to go to stage 4?
What if her journey is to go to stage 4?
And then come out of it?
And then come out of it.
What if her journey isn't that?
What if her journey isn't that?
All the what ifs.
All the what ifs.
All my fears that I'm bringing in.
All my fears that I'm bringing in. I want to release them.
I want to release my fears.
I want to release my fears.
I never really lose anyone.
I never really lose anyone.
Her journey is her journey.
Her journey is her journey.
And I choose to be there for it.
And I choose to be there for it.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Stage 4.
Stage 4.
Stage 3.
Stage 3.
Complete healing.
Complete healing.
I'll be there for it.
I'll be there for it.
It's my journey too.
It's my journey too.
And I choose to release all the fear around any of the journey.
And I choose to release all the fear around this journey.
Knowing that all is well and appropriate.
Or knowing that all that is well and appropriate.
All is well and appropriate for both of our souls.
All is well and appropriate for both of our souls.
And I choose to release the fear that I'm putting on.
And I choose to release the fear that I'm putting on.
Her journey.
On her journey.
Releasing it and letting it go.
Releasing it and letting it go.
All the way back to its origin, wherever it began.
All the way back to its origin, wherever it began.
All the lifetimes I lost loved ones.
All the lifetimes I lost loved ones.
I met them again in the next lifetime.
I met them again in the next lifetime.
I know at a soul level I never lose anyone.
I know at a soul level I never really lose anyone.
So I release the fear around that.
So I release the fear around that.
And I enjoy her journey.
And I enjoy her journey.
And being there for her.
And being there for her.
And helping her guides.
And helping her guides.
To get through to her.
To get through to her.
For her higher learning.
For her higher learning.
To change her own future.
To change her own future.
I release all my fear.
I release all my fear.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
All is well.
All is well.
And all is appropriate.
And all is appropriate.
For her learning.
For her learning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm still getting that here.
Mm-hmm.
It's moved. It's kind of not there. It's gone down there.
Gone down. So what sort of feeling is it?
Dull ache.
Even though I've got this dull ache,
Even though I've got this dull ache,
my body's processing and releasing it.
my body is processing and releasing it.
It's already moved.
It's already moved.
And I give my body permission to dissolve it and let it go.
And I give my body permission to dissolve it and let it go.
My body's already processing it.
My body's already processing it.
It's already moved.
It's already moved.
Releasing and letting go of the dull ache.
Releasing and letting go of the dull ache.
All the fears.
All the fears.
Releasing and letting go of the dull ache.
Releasing and letting go of the dull ache.
I don't need to take it on.
I don't need to take it on.
Taking it on doesn't help her journey.
Taking on doesn't help her journey.
Releasing and letting go.
Releasing and letting go.
All the way back to its origin.
All the way back to its origin.
And in this life.
And in this life.
And out into the future.
And out into the future.
Deep breath.
Yeah, I feel lighter.
Mm-hmm. How's it down there? Any dull ache anymore?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
Wow, where did all that come from?